Nice to meet you, man.
Hey, nice to meet you, man. Even though it's virtually, man. Well, I'm so happy that we actually get to do this together, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you hitting me up.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
No, of course, man. I appreciate you saying yes to that, man. I may tell you, not many people say yes to this, and when they do, I feel very grateful and appreciative of that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to say no. So
that's dope, man. That's dope, man. Well, man, let's get Shindig started, man. I mean, I'm so happy that you came over, and how's it hanging over there, man? How's your life right now?
It's good. Just the music industry is
pain in the ass.
Once you always want more, if that makes sense. Meaning success. Once you achieve one thing, it's like,
right.
Okay, well that's cool, but now I want more. So which is good. It's good and bad. You know what I mean? It's good to constantly like not like overstate your successes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're like, because there's always bigger successes, or there's someone else doing it better than you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just one of those things where at my age, at 27, it's like, well, music or what? And so, but just past few months been like, I want to do music really hard, but payments and everything. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you gotta say fuck it and be like, well, I'm going to live a little bit poor for a while and then do music, or, you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things where it's hard to, with rent in California and everything else.
I can imagine.
And finishing up college. I just want to get done with college.
Yeah. What college are you going through, and what major are you getting to?
I started going to college when I was 21. So later than most people, but I went out of high school, graduated at 19, was held back in first grade. So I graduated later, than most people. So my birthday, I turned 19 and then I graduated a month after. But so then for two years, I went to ICON, if you know ICON Music School.
Oh, another ICON. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, but I fucked off. So that's like one thing where I think if you go there, well, I mean, like I passed and everything like that. It's just one of those things where if you don't take advantage of it, you can get a lot more out of it, like Company did, for example, and other artists who really like Dak Daniels, Tanner, good friend. But if you don't really take advantage of it, and like I was dating a person during the time where it's everything, where it's like after class I never hung out with people. You know what I mean? That's where you get a lot of the stuff. It's like you go to class and everything, but it's more about going after class. Yeah. You know what I mean? And putting in the after time of like just hanging out with people. That's what it's really about. You know what I mean? I had no issues with, just doing the regular, but it's all about the extra.
Right.
And that's how you get stuff out of ICON. And I didn't do that. But anyway, so I passed that. Then after, when I was 20, for a year, I just worked at like this water store. That, if you know, like alkaline water and like reverse osmosis, like I just filled up like water jugs, and then I just worked on music in the back during my downtime. So that was going on. Then I went to college when I was 21. And I've been finishing up I've been doing my business degree. So my opinion, just like business degrees apply to everything.
I agree.
I mean? So if you don't know what you want to do, it's kind of a good one to have, that it can apply to every field, So yeah, and I'm not really, I love learning, but I really hate the education system. It's like a lot of professors don't even give a shit, which is fine. But I've had professors where they've said like, oh, a boulder hit my car, and so I wasn't able to make it to the final, and literally just gave everybody a pass. Wow. And it's like, it's really weird where it's like, maybe that did happen or whatever else, like a boulder rolled off, because my school is like kind of near the ocean, but it's like kind of a crazy thing to happen. I've had like,
that's kind of wild.
Yeah, and we just like, everybody just passed the class. It was just like, all right, like not like first semester shit either. Like this was like, upper division, 300 level courses in college.
Wow.
And which is fine. It's a free A, but I'd rather get a free grade than not. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not over there, but it's just like interesting when you're paying all this money and you have shit like that happen. And it's just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what's the point? And I'll be honest, I learned more. I learned more when I'm being taught from someone who actually enjoys doing it regardless of the money. And there are professors like that, but it's far and few. At least at the college I am going to.
Right.
Not a bad school. It's called Channel Islands. It's in Ventura County, which you don't know where any of that is, but it's near the ocean. It used to be an insane asylum. So there's a fun fact. Before it was a college, before it was a college, it was like an insane asylum. So they used to do like lobotomies. So my college is like haunted to some degree. So
I got a similar story to you, man.
Yeah.
I went to school. I just so you know, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Yes. I hear a little bit of an accent. I wasn't gonna ask what accent. I don't want to sound.
It's okay. My English is not my first language, man. So you gotta forgive for my foolishness, but
no, you're good.
You're like one of the few people who's noticed that and say, "Oh, you have an accent on when I speak English."
Yeah, it's not. Well, I mean, I'm so monotone that anything I hear.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
But what I was about to say, like, so I was born and raised there, and I went to school there for engineering. I wanted from the get go. From the get go, I was always a DJ since I was 15, and from the get go, I was always like, I want audio engineering. Like, I want to do something that it's related to audio. It doesn't have to be music, but it's something that's related to audio, even if it's creating something. And one of the colleges that I went to, Polytech University, they sold me this dream saying that, oh yeah, you come with us, you get a degree here, and you can get a master's degree on audio engineering. At that time, I didn't know that was even viable. I didn't know that shit existed. So I was like, oh yeah, let's do this. Boy, would you know that when I came there, halfway there, I realized like, oh no, it never existed. So I was
emotional,
like,
damn it.
Yeah. Was it one of those like cash and grab type schools?
Yeah, it was. It's a very notorious school. Like it has like a very well known accreditation. But yeah, they kind of fooled me at first. But I mean, I finished it as a electronics and communication engineer, and I told my parents, it's like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Like, I want to do what I really want to do, which is audio engineering. But what I'm about to say to you is that in the terms of the school, I learned that the school that I went to was also an asylum for the criminal insane, and they also had nuns in there. This is what I was told. And then there's stories behind about there's a basement, that there's classes in the basement, but they say that people die in the basement, and there's like this haunting of a nun that passes by, and the way you know that it's passing by or it's nearby is that, when the motion sensors detect that all the classes light up.
Yeah.
That's how you know that she's nearby or she's around. So one time we were the only people in the classroom. We were just using the classroom as a space to study. And every other place, there was just 4 other classrooms that were completely dark. The hallway was completely dark. 10 minutes later, all of a sudden we hear lights like flickering and then turning on all automatically. And mind you, they're all motion sensors. So the only way for it to turn on if it's somebody present. So we checked around. There was literally nobody around. So I said myself, like, I don't know what you guys want to do, but I'm taking my shit and I'm getting the fuck out of here. Because I'm not going to be another victim here for another scary movie. Bullshit.
Yeah, when I heard about it all, like I've never, I think for me, I'm so creeped out about just normal day shit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm not even worried about fucking, I mean, but ghosts, I don't know. I've never been scared about ghosts. It's never been something that's really, I don't know, it's never really haunted me. I get more scared of just randomly getting mugged in LA. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. Shit like that. I get more scared about that than paranormal. But I feel you. It is scary when.
I mean, it's scary when you hear these stories and then you just brush it up. I was just like, man, this is just a typical or regular urban story. Like, it ain't nothing gonna really happen, And my mindset was like, nothing's gonna happen, but why risk it?
Yeah, I feel you.
Why risk it?
Yeah, it's like, you know the movie The Grudge, right?
Yeah. I had nightmares with that fucking movie. That and The Ring as well.
Oh yeah, so it's The Ring. You know the well in The Ring?
Yeah.
So that well is the well that's at my school. Yeah.
Nani?
Yep. Yeah.
I know that. I know it's a prop, but
yeah. Yeah, it's from my school. It's like the only thing I know about my school regarding history about it is like the only that's like the only thing that everybody knows about my school is like the horror stuff. Because they had that, and then some band based their cover album, or maybe I forget what it is, either their cover album or their like lead song for one of their albums. But it's based off I forget what band, but it's like it's based off our school. You know what I mean? Like the cover art. So I forget what rock band it is, which is cool, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, school's cool and all, but it's a little bit pricey. And I think nowadays, if you know what you want and you can network your way into things, and you and it's not something where it's like an obvious career that like being a lawyer or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like just knowing the right people goes a long way nowadays. And don't get me wrong, like you still have to work, and you still have to make bread while trying to network your way into those things. Yeah. But I feel like knowing people goes a long way compared to college. I mean, college goes a long way, kind of, but it's just it's one of those things where you waste some of the time. Like I have a lot of years where I'm like, fuck. If I didn't do college, you know, I had like offers for shows where I turned them down because I had finals. You know what I mean? Like the week of like I had finals, you know, and I got offered shows.
Yeah.
Like I had a show offered for Wasted last year. But I had a macro thing. Yeah, it was my macro final for economics, and it's like, bro, I have to pass this. Like I'm not taking macro again.
Damn.
And I took macro one. It's the only class I ever repeated was macro. Because econ is a bitch.
Tell me about
econ is a fucking bitch. Yeah. So yeah. So there's been things where it's regarding school where I've missed stuff with music, and I'm at that age where it's like I'd rather do less in school and still finish it, even if it's going to take a little bit longer, and focus more on music while doing, you know, my day hustle to and by day hustle I mean very small amounts of I enjoy day trading at a very minimal level. So I try to day trade as a side thing in the morning. That's what I enjoy for a side little gig, to make a little bit of money on the side, as well as doing just to help fund what's the right word? Help fund like free download art releases and stuff like that, because it all costs money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't really ask anything back for singles that I put out for free, because I do enjoy getting artwork where it's well done and not just some bullshit.
I agree.
And so that's I do a little bit of that, and day trading, by that I mean I lose more money than I make probably, but that's okay.
That's okay.
But it's just a side thing that I enjoy doing. I don't even talk about it anywhere, but I'll throw it in here because who knows who will hear this and find it interesting, but maybe someone will see my name and listen.
Absolutely.
Maybe someone will click it and be like, what does Tremorr have to say about something? But who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? Anyways, if they get this far through it, they can hear that comment about that. But
that's the beauty about this podcast show, man. We can talk about anything and discuss about anything, man. There's no filters in about this, man.
Yeah, but no one should day trade. That shit is a scam.
Oh shit! You guys heard it. You guys heard it from him.
Everything's a scam.
You know, dude, the way you were talking to me, I in my head I was like, holy crap! I have so many things that I want to talk to you, and so many things I want to like collaborate with you on. The first thing I got in my head, it was like the educational part. Like I feel the same way, in the sense that I feel like lately the educational system is just a big waste of fucking time, where like you could have learned some of this stuff from someone who's actually doing it, and you can go along with it for less. Like, for example, like if you want to learn how to make music, you just go to someone who's actually making music and who's actually making it out there. Like, for example, I want to learn how to make music. Who do I go to? Oh, I could go to you. You're a music producer. I could go to Company. I could go to a Careless Castle. I could go to any of these artists who are doing private tutoring sessions and learn how to make music and just spend like what, a few hundreds of dollars on them personally, and it goes strictly to them, and I learn it, versus spending like a loan of thousands and thousands of dollars on a school education that may or may not teach you the things that you want to learn.
Well, even Icon, like I love Icon's great and all, but I think if you really want to hone in on certain genres, in certain directions, it's really awesome that more artists are offering tutorial or lessons. So let's say you really want to learn like dubstep, like just dubstep, especially someone who's out there in the scene making it.
Yeah.
It's really cool now that more producers, versus like when I went to Icon back in 2015, like no one was giving lessons, like one-on-one lessons. Like it wasn't a thing back then, which is fine. Like and honestly, there has to be a level where people retain some of their sauce, if you will, and they figure out like, okay, if I give out lessons, like I'm not giving away. Like you want to give away everything that you can, besides like few tricks here or there. Maybe you might keep, just because it's the way the industry is. But it's really cool to see that most musicians nowadays are really giving out stuff that you would not find 7 years ago.
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I love that. I really love that, because here's the thing. I've been tutored, mentored by Adair Lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had also Josh from Modestep.
Yeah.
And also I had Jashar, Crimson Child. All of them are great people. And and I've been mentored by them, and what I love about them is that they just tell me the secrets out of it. They just tell me the real sauce of how to do things,
Yeah, definitely.
And the sound designing of all of it, And what I love about it is that I tell them, I want to sound like this. Like, how do you do this sound? Oh, they'll show it to me in a matter of seconds. And then they'll always tell me, it's like, but let me ask you, why is it that you want to sound like this? Why don't you just like do something like this, but creating your own style or create your own groove out of it? And I was like, oh shit, you got a point, because you're right. I don't want to sound like a Zomboy. There's already a Zomboy, so why do I need to sound like him? I want to be the next Wolfson, or the next Tremorr, I want to be my own me. So
so I think a lot of it comes down to, it's like human traits. Like if you see a friend that's really like the way they interact with somebody, like, man, I wish I spoke like they did when they were in public. It's like that, but then it's like that with music, where it's like, man, I really like how that guy sounds. Well, I want to almost emulate it, but emulate it in a way where it reflects, where it's like if you hang out with someone enough, you might start laughing like they do, but almost in a way that, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like that, where you might start laughing like they do, but almost in your own, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that, where I find myself, if I listen to somebody enough, like maybe a podcaster or something, and I hear them laugh or whatever, I might start laughing like that for like a week, like a little bit, like I start imitating. And I think that's something, because I enjoy the way they laugh. You know what I mean? Because I genuinely I find it funny the way they laugh, so I might start laughing like it for a week or something. I don't know. I think that's the same thing with music, where we hear a sound, we're like, fuck. But a lot of times I've done it where it's like I hear somebody and I imitate it, and it's too imitated. You know what I mean? And so I feel you, and it's good that artists like Modestep and everything else built. And it's good that people show you and you, but they're also like, look, people might correlate it or might look at it as an imitation. So definitely put your own spin on it. So it's good that it's good to have that, because people will, you don't like Morte, for example. Like Morte is like the god, and he has like that sound. You know what I mean? Like he has his sound.
Yeah.
And it's sure, it's like, you could say it's like, okay, well, it's kind of like sudden death, but it's not. Like it's like dark like sudden death, but that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I mean, like he has his own thing with like the choirs and making it really like with like the really like eerie, like piano-ish type, like orchestra fucking background shit and everything in the drops. It's like, it's so, You know what I mean? And I think more people, it's hard because that's another thing where you talk about the labels. You know, you showed me the doc. It's hard for labels at times to, you feel like they're not going to accept different things. And people say like, okay, we want new art, like bigger artists will be like, we want to hear like stop imitating or blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, like I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. But it's like these fucking labels, they need to be about not just shilling the same shit over and over. And most labels are getting really good about not doing that nowadays. But for a long time, it was like rinse and repeat the same release. You know what I mean? Like you felt like it was just like this and this, and it felt like the same. And not every release, but at times you're like, okay, I've heard like the same pattern like 2 releases ago, and almost like the same.
Like in a way, they're getting a little bit lazy when it comes to the releases.
But the thing is, like every like, video games go through this. Like every art, everything goes through the same form of someone copying somebody. You know what I mean? Like battle royales. You know what I mean? There's like a bread and butter that comes out. It's a moneymaker. Like we're gonna fuck, and that's fine. Like it's just it's a little bit what's the right when something's like something that's so new and brand new in dubstep somehow gets old so fast when it shouldn't, but it does because everybody hops on it so quick. Like Future Rhythm.
Yes, like
everybody hopped on it super quick, which is fine. I love Future Rhythm still.
Yeah, I fuck with it. Yeah,
I love it still. But and I don't think it got stale at all. But like the listeners think it gets stale after a while. I feel like, you know what I mean, when every artist ends up catching it, because every artist likes doing new things, and when something catches away, like, oh shit, we can make this too, and people actually listen, then it almost becomes too late once your release comes out, because it takes like 5 fucking months for the release to come out with the real label.
Here.
Sometimes, or a year, or whatever that, you know, or whatever it is. And it's just like so many hoops at times. And I love labels because as a skateboarder, you know, growing up skating, I see labels as like a sponsorship. So it's like, you know, getting sponsored by like, you know, what you want to get sponsored by like Royal Trucks. You want to get sponsored by fucking, you know, Nike. Vans. You want to get sponsored by fucking
by
girl
Monsters.
Skateboards. Yeah, by girl skateboards. You want to get sponsored by fucking some sort of, you know, Volcom for tea. Who fucking knows? But the point is, like, I take pride, and I think I take it as like not like a badge of honor, but I think like working through like the labels and like being able to release on each one. Yeah. And like I enjoy that. You know what I mean? Like I love it. So that's why it's for me, and maybe other artists, I don't know. It gets frustrating at times when, let's say, a label like completely, which I'm sure labels get tons of submissions. Don't get me wrong. But if labels like never listen to like an EP from somebody, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is, whoever it is, not me or somebody else. And it's like really good and would have gotten signed or whatever, but never gets listened to. And so therefore they have to release it by themselves, which maybe it even does better that way nowadays. But it's like, it's annoying when there's like so many loops and it's not the label's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. It's just like, it's such a small niche industry and there's no money in the industry compared to like, compared to rap. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just it's so small, even when it seems so big. Yeah. You know, like in like Lost Lands is fucking huge, and it's just as big as like most rap festivals. Don't get me wrong. But these rap guys like Little Uzi Vert or whatever else, or, you know, not even Little, that's a bad example, but like the really small people at Rolling Loud are probably making decent money, you know? And it's like on a day-to-day basis, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, who fucking knows? But I feel like there might be a little bit more money in the smaller underground scene in rap than like in dubstep, for sure. Which there should be. It's rap. It's been around for way longer. But it's so... And maybe it is for house music too. I don't know how it is for house music. You know what I mean? Maybe for the smaller scene, and maybe for like the amateurs or whatever in house, not when you're not playing Tomorrowland and shit, when you're in the smaller fields or whatever. I don't,
when you're in boiler rooms only.
Yeah, maybe it's the same shit. You know, I assume it is. But maybe it's a little bit better. I don't know. What I will say is there's probably more resident house gigs for artists.
Yes, they are. They are.
Rather than dubstep, which there should be, because objectively your house music should be more popular than dubstep, even though I wish it I wish it was all like the same popularity. But yeah, I love the labels, and I think I love grinding it. I wish there was more money, not for us or that, just money, so it was sustainable for the labels and for the artists a little bit more. You know what I mean? Just 2% more sustainability. You know what I mean? Just like a small percentage more, just because it's, it is what it is.
I feel you, man. I feel you. And and there's some things that you said about certain things about the labels in the house that I do agree. And then there's some that I had to push back just a bit about it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Before this year, I was all about, one day I'm gonna get released on Disciple. One day I'll get a release on Monstercat, especially Monstercat. Monstercat, even to this day, Monstercat is still my number one goal.
Definitely. Hell yeah, man. Rocket League shit and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I fucking love Monstercat because Monstercat has like every single genre. It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Monstercat is like literally the biggest EDM genre in the world. I don't know any other genre that can release songs of every fucking genre. Like we have a dubstep genre, we have a drum and bass, we have a future stuff, we have house stuff, we got trance stuff, we got mid-tempo stuff. Like it's fucking dope. I love it. I love, and I'm hopefully one day, sooner rather than later, I get to release an EP that I have in my hand.
Me too.
I'm still in the works, or even, and it doesn't matter if it's not an EP, it's a song. If it's not a song, it's a remix. But as long as my goal meets the end to say, I fucking did it. I did a release on Monstercat. To me, that's just already satisfying as it is. Even if it's collaboration, even if it's producer credits, I really don't care. As long as it says I did it on Monstercat.
Yeah. As long as your name is next to it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just my personal driven thing that I have. Now, my side of business, along with labels, I have an issue with a lot of labels. Not all of them. And I have done an episode about this, about rejection, about labels, and me telling people do not send demos to record labels, And I said it very clearly. It's not all labels. There's a few labels that are in it for the people. There's a few labels that do listen and they give you feedback. And I give my props to the ones that I do, like Disciple and Ophelia.
Yeah, definitely Disciple. For sure.
And Cannibal, Tom and Mark, shout out to those guys. I give my flowers to those guys. Absolutely. They do listen and they give you good feedback. And Funkcase too. Funkcase on deep email.
James. Yeah, he's responded to every email. And there's and when I think what it is, it's there's not enough money for them to pay people to run shit. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of it too. And
and I'm with it. And to be honest, I was me releasing on music on labels. It was never about the money. I really could care less about me releasing on a label and me getting paid like next year or the following year or something like that. That was never an issue for me. Because
it was like what I meant was them paying someone to listen to the demos.
Oh
keeping up with every email. I understand that. Yeah.
Well, now I'm about to get to that part. I'm about to get to that part because the part that I'm about to shit on certain labels and a lot of labels is the part that they don't really have a good A&R team. Let me rephrase this. They don't have a good team for them to listen to your music and say, yeah, we fuck with this song or not. No, usually it's the artist or whoever's running the label is the one listening to the song. Because let me tell you, I did an experiment, and you're not gonna believe that I sent an email to at least 20 something demos to various dubstep labels. And before I even did it, I made sure I sent it to my homies who are established, like Needy and Motseb and others, to say, yo, is this okay? Is this dope? Do you fuck with it? He's like, yeah, it's dope, blah, blah, blah. So they won't bullshit me. They'll tell me whether it needs work or not. So I send them, and I only got response out of 5 of them, and only one gave me a feedback about it.
Yeah.
And then it was later on that I talked to fuck. Into the Daw. What's his name? Wyatt. Shout out to Wyatt. I talked to Wyatt about this sort of stuff. Like I did this experiment, and I presented on an episode and this and that, and he tells me, like Wolv said, if you knew I used to be an A&R, these A&Rs, there's no such thing as an A&Rs in any of these labels. Like it's a complete joke. It's basically a friend of a friend who's doing that department, and most of the time they get sent to a spam folder.
Yeah,
like
which I get. Like I get it. Like it's not even like I'm blaming. Like I get it. It's just like it's just crazy when it's this far along down this. It's like this is 2012. Like this is not 2012. Like how the fuck do artists that are big and been around forever expect people, like not just myself but other people where they get so frustrated with their, like I've gotten super frustrated. Like I got I'm not gonna say what label because that's fucking trashy as shit, but I've had labels where they've accepted EPs, and then which on my doing, my mastering wasn't good enough at the time. You know what I mean? Which is fine. But 6 months down the line, they say, hey, we're not going to take it. But why accept it or say you're gonna and lay out the contract?
Yeah.
And everything if the mastering isn't good enough to begin with. Like don't accept the EP to begin with if the mastering with those first demos aren't to quality at all. You know what I mean? Don't string people down that, oh well, if you get the masters to be good enough, then we'll go through with the release. Like you shouldn't accept the demos to begin with. Like don't even, like it's worse because when you string people along and then you cancel it, it just leaves a bad taste in their mouth where it's like, hey, if I just got told no to begin with, that it's like a girlfriend. You know, some girl is like, yo, I want to start dating. And like 2 weeks later, like, hey, I don't want to date you.
Like what was that?
Like,
then the 2 weeks.
Why'd you even start dating me to begin with? Like you could have just said no to begin with. Like that would have been cool. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with saying no. You know, and I think,
but there's time to say no. Like you could have spared me the time for it.
Yeah, and exactly. And if they would have said no to begin with and said, hey, but if you do the masters better, then we can accept this. That would have been 6 months of me not fucking expecting a release, and not expecting, but assuming a release is happening due to the contract being given, the EP work being talked about, the my Spotify end up getting linked with their account for the release. You know what I mean? It's like, so all these things happen for them to like watch the release, how it does with the charts. You know what I mean? Like if all these steps are being taken, like just don't sign it to begin with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't care. Just tell me no. You know, it makes people, like, it made me feel like it, that was the only time in my music career where I was like genuinely hurt, like heartbroken, where it's like not because like I was like the label was like the biggest label ever, but it was just like leading people on is the lamest shit. That's why if I was a label, that's one thing that if anybody ever hears this, don't accept shit that you may not release later in the line. Because it makes people like feel like they waited with this track. They could have sent it out to other labels. They could have self-released it by this time. You know what I mean? Anything else, and then you're just left with, you know. And I never even released those 3 tunes. They never even got released. I was just like, fuck it, not releasing them.
That's shitty, bro. And that shit has happened to me 2 times as well.
Yeah, and it's all good. Like it's all part of the industry. I just think it's all good now. Just like in hindsight, for anybody listening, maybe anybody that goes through it, just don't dwell on it. That's something I did. Where I took like a month. I took a month like sitting back and being like, and trying to mix it better and sending it back to the label, and I never even got a response. So I was like, whatever. But it's like I sat there trying to like remaster it and everything, like blah blah blah. And then a month later, after I sent it back, they had emailed me saying, "Hey, we'll actually accept it if you want to send us new masters." I was like, "No,
go fuck themselves."
I'm like, no, I'm not fucking. It's just like those loopholes where it's like, you know, it's just like a loop after a loop after a loop after a loop. And
it ain't worth the headache again.
Yeah, other than that, man, like the music industry has been really good to me. Every artist I've never had beef with, I've never had any issues with.
That's
ever.
Good.
I love, like, shout out to Crow's Nest, shout out to Sven, Codepan, fucking Inhuman, everybody, all those guys. Like Sven, Sven was the first person that really released me as a label, and my music was ass back then. Like it wasn't bad, but it was shit as fuck. Looking back at my old releases, like in 2017 and 2018. So I really appreciate Sven for giving my music a chance. And I don't think I'd be here right now. Still releasing music if I never had an outlet. It made me feel like part of a family, because that's like the one thing where I get into music, where it's just feeling like you're part of a family.
Yeah.
And living with divorced parents, it's one of those things where going back and forth between homes 50-50 every week, blah 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 blah. And like it's one of those things where I wasn't growing up with music. I listened to metal, like Under Oath and everything else. Regarding like Under Oath is a great band, but it's one of those bands where it's like it's super not corny, but it's just one of those bands that everybody listens, or not everybody, but a lot of people from 2006. If you're in that era, if you know Under Oath, I don't know if you do, but
I know Under Oath. I know quite a lot. I mean, at that 2006, I was in my late teenage years. 2006. I was 16. Yeah, I was 16 at the time. Yeah, no, I'm 30. I'm 32 right now. So I grew. Yeah, so I grew up with the old school rock, punk rock, and alternative and metal and stuff.
Yeah. But you make me feel a little young. So I'll feel a little young right now.
Yeah, well, 4 years difference with me, right? Or 6? You're 27, right?
I'm 27, so 5 years. Okay. Yeah, 4.5, 5, whatever it is. But yeah, so growing up, I didn't really listen to too much music besides like metal, and then skateboarding. I started getting to rap a little bit, in like when I was 13, and then when I was 14, I started listening to dubstep. And then once I went to my first rave when I was 14, because raves were all ages in LA.
That's then. Fucking dope. That's fucking dope.
So back in 2009, they were all ages. All my friends were older growing up, so they were 18. So that's how I went. And I saw like DJ Isaac. If you know who DJ Isaac is, he's like hardstyle.
I never quite follow most of the hardstyle genre, but I fuck with here and there. But I don't know much about
you're good. You're good. I saw a dubstep artist that he shall not be named. If you catch my my drift with that one. He used to be Excision's best friend. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So back in 2009, I saw him. He was my first show I went to.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was the headliner for the dubstep stage, and there was a hardstyle stage, and there was like a house stage, and but yeah. So basically, when I went to my first rave, I was like, "Holy shit!" Not like this is what I want to do,
right?
But it took me like probably the first time I went, I was like, I want to go to these parties, house parties are whack in junior high compared to this. Like this is where the party's at. I partied young, but then I got out of partying really quick. Like I partied super young. Probably took a little bit of stuff I shouldn't have taken at a really young age. By young, I mean 14 and above, but still 14 is way too young to be partying at all. But I got out of it really quickly just because it's, I don't know, like it's cool and all, but if people want to live their life, they want to live their life, they can go for it. But
yeah,
my addiction's more to not making money, but just success. You know what I mean? In sense of like having success with my brand. Like that's what I want to do. Like I hate drinking because the next day I have to even if it's one drink, I cannot wake up the next day without feeling a little hungover. I don't know why, just because I don't drink at all or whatever it is. And so whenever my friends want to go out, it's like I'm that guy where if I do have a drink, it's like half a shot of vodka, just because I don't want to feel like shit, but I enjoy like the bite of alcohol.
Yeah,
like the bite of alcohol is nice, but other than that, I'm not a big drinker. But anyways, so
but that's good, man.
So once I was 14, I was just like, man, EDM's sick. So that's when I started just following dub, basically just dub. I mean, house music as well. Like I've loved Wolfgang Gardner since I was a kid. And like a lot of house music as well.
Deadmau5 is my name.
I saw Deadmau5 for his Cube set at EDC in 2010. Like I was there front row, 15 years old, but but it was like really short lived. With I just went to a ton of raves. I went to like 40 or 50 raves within like a year and a half, just like every weekend. Just
that's crazy.
And then after that, I just wanted to make music, but I had no idea. So I just made sounds for friends. From like 2011 to 2013, I would just make sounds for friends. And then they would make music with my massive patches. So I would make my friends massive patches and they would just use them. And they were shit. I had no idea what I was fucking doing. No idea at all. Because there was no tutorials back then. There was nothing.
There were no cymatics back then.
All there was Mr. Bill. But I had no attention span for listening to Mr. Bill because I was 14 years old, 15 years old, trying to make music. I wasn't 15. I had been beginning of 16 or 15 when I started making sounds. And I had no attention span for sitting there and learning how to actually do an envelope or an LFO and actually what it meant. I was just plucking shit on everything. And eventually like I understood like that would do that or whatever else. Yeah. But I had no attention span to learn what anything did. I had no idea what EQing was forever. I had no idea that you had to take your low end out of your sub for the longest time. Like for the longest time. Because I was like, I was super stubborn. Or by low end, I mean like your low sides, like not having sides in your sub. Like I was like someone who was so ignorant and just wanted to make music my way for the longest time, like even up until forever. And by that I mean like once I learned like all the even once I stopped being stubborn about basic stuff, I was just stubborn about not being more generic with flows. And by generic I mean just like not as all over the place with flow patterns and stuff like that. I was so just like, I'm going to make music my way, blah, 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 blah. So that's another thing. If you're going to come up and make music, don't fucking do it your way. Do it your way after you learn how to do it. Learning the rules and then breaking them is way better than breaking rules and then picking up the pieces later. Like it is. Yeah. It's terrible. So that's my big thing. Where if there's one big lesson that I've learned from, and that applies with all of life, and that's something that I'm learning with day trading, is not trying to do stuff my way. But anyways, I think it's all of life. Is you just have to like take off. I mean, obviously take out. It's easier said than done. Learning from other people's mistakes. You know what I mean? And so you don't make music that way or whatever. You know what I mean? Or by that meaning, learning to produce certain patterns first is easier than just going all out balls to the wall. You know what I mean? It's better to write a really simple pattern, like a quarter note pattern, and then changing it rather than just like, I'm going to make fucking, like just insanely crazy pattern right away. And where it takes way longer, or if you just wrote a really simple pattern, then made that pattern complex after. It's faster, it's more productive, and you're going to probably have something that is more cohesive. Yeah. And
learn the rules to break the rules.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's I don't know, but basically I got into the whole music stuff and the whole label shit, and I appreciate wanting to be like a family. You know what I mean? And so I think that's one thing with dubstep where it does a good thing where a lot of people feel like they're part of a family, but it takes a lot out of you sometimes to even get to that point, where you got to find yourself, find your crew, or not even your crew, but just find the people who like you all really chime with. And then you find like your outer layer of friends that you chime with as well. It's like this it's like this onion, you have your core friends, your outer, and you want to, like, for me, man, I like to stay in touch and try to with everybody. And I like to try to reach out to everybody, even if it's not fake friendship that I try to do. I just want to try to network with people. So if I run into people or whatever else, it's not like meeting someone for the first time, and it's not and it's not weird or anything else. Like if I run into someone, like I'd rather go up to, like I met like Chassis was at like some show the other week and in LA and I'd never met him. And I was just I'd rather go up and show my face and just say, hey, what's up? Rather than being like, nah, it's going to be weird. Like I'll run into him. I'll run into him some other time. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. Like procrastinating, putting it off. Because I was someone who was so bad with networking for the longest time. I wouldn't go to shows. I would stay in my bubble in LA. And then the big thing with LA is going out is the best part. Meaning if you want to get in with the scene really well with a lot of scenes in LA, you gotta be out there. And probably the same for Miami too. You know, it shows putting your face, getting your face seen. Is better than just like saying what's up on the internet. You know what I mean? In my opinion. And so it's one thing I'm trying to do more. I would like to start playing like Wasted or try to get a Wasted set. I don't know if you know that promotion company, but they do promotion out here in Texas. And that was the company that offered me a show. But I had finals. I had to miss on that show for
that sucks.
For my finals. It is what it is. Yeah. So but anyways.
I mean, this is amazing, man. This is amazing. And some of the things that you were saying to me is like I can really relate to you, bro. There's some things that I've dealt with. I don't know how ugly is the LA scene, but I know for sure that the Miami scene is shady as fuck. And some of the things I've seen and dealt with, and some truths that I had to figure out that I wish I haven't found out about it, but you know, good thing I did.
Yeah, for sure.
Networking is definitely a must. I don't know if I would have. Let me see how I can put this. I don't know if I would. If you're into house, then networking is a must. It's definitely a must in Miami because if you're a house DJ, you're much more versatile and diverse that you can basically play on any club or any show and whatnot. Because house is being loved in Miami. That's what Miami loves, the house scene. You know, bass is not well received in Miami. The last time bass was well received was probably the festival era. You know, when GTA popped off, Lucas, Flustramus, all those guys, you know, when that whole festival trap came about, then that was, you know, the only time Miami embraced bass for a little bit. And it was because, you know, festival trap correlates to trap.
Yeah, I mean, I went to UMF in 2012 and there was dubstep there. Yeah, so that was like one of the only times where I feel you. Like there hasn't been.
Yeah, the last time I went to Ultra was 2015, and that was the year that Skrillex closed. And after that, I don't feel like dubstep has ever been much loved afterwards, you know? And
yeah, exactly. Like they had Danny this year, which is cool, or last year, whenever it was, which is like sick. But it's like for years, like when I went, they had Scream and Banga back to back.
Yeah, and I remember when Zomboy was around. I remember Knife Party and Pendulum were more relevant to it. I remember that a bunch of other dubstep producers were relevant in Ultra that you like go to the worldwide stage and you go like, holy shit, bro, like we're going nuts about it. Now it's more like like if you're that super artist level talent,
like Subtronics or Kaiwachi, like they would be there.
Like Nightmare will be there, and even and
they should be.
And I'm not knocking them down for not being there, you know. But unless you're like in that level, superhero level, anything below that is like, you know, they're not gonna fuck with it, you know.
They should. It'd be interesting if they did, because I don't know if they do it now, but I know when I went, they had more parties around UMF, like after parties.
Oh yeah. That's the thing about Miami. It's very weird because that's where I was about to tell you that, you know, when it comes to house and you should network, bass is not a really good thing to network. But when Miami Music Week comes and Winter Music Conference, that's where you should network the fuck out of it. That's where you gotta go on every show every day, even though you can't sleep, even though you got next day you gotta go to work. network the fuck out, because that's where all the best are gonna be. And whether people realize it or not, the beauty about Miami Music Week is some of these artists are not the whole time in the VIP section or the backstage section. Most of the time they're chilling in the crowd. So you just basically mingle with them and go be friendly with these guys and take an interest, and before you know it, they'll take an interest in you and they ask you what you do, and boom, you already established a relationship right there, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. Back when you probably remember the smog versus like firepower.
Oh, hell yeah, I remember that.
Like, if only there was more of like those things during Miami Music Week, like now, like if they had like Disciple versus like DPMO.
Or Disciple versus Never Say Die.
If only, yeah. If only. But, yeah. But I mean, like, if they had those things still, that'd be cool, because it made dubstep feel like it was more
community based.
Yeah, well, because like, I mean, it's obvious that there's not less, but it's like if you look at Tomorrowland's main stage, it's all house, which great, you know what I mean? But it's like if you look at where the money is mostly, it's like it's more in house, like I fucking love house. House live is amazing and everything else, and there should be money in that. But it's like if there, it's like hockey. Like hockey's like dubstep. Like hockey gets like less money than all the other sports. Like it's just no.
Really?
Like the wages compared to like basketball and football. Like hockey gets remember the hockey strikes back in the day? I don't know if you remember, there was like a hockey strike in the US, and there wasn't the NHL for like 2 or 3 seasons back in like 2007. There was like a hockey strike.
At that time, I wasn't following hockey.
Okay, I mean,
I was more into NBA and MLB at the time.
For sure. I did hockey growing up for 5 seasons.
Okay,
so that's I was a goalie back in the day. But anyways,
dope.
Yeah, but point being that the NHL got shafted. You know what I mean? Compared to like NFL, and they still do probably. Obviously not as much, since there was like that thing that went down. Hopefully not as much. But like what I'm saying is like you see stars from like baseball and basketball and NFL. Like you don't see it like NHL stars. There's no LeBron James NHL star right now. Like you don't see them out there. You don't see soccer players out, or you see soccer player stars out there, but you don't say like NHL is just like the lowest of the low regarding payments. I feel like.
Wow, really?
I feel like in the main sports, maybe I'm wrong, but in the main sports, like between soccer, NFL,
basketball, MLB.
I feel like NHL is like the lowest paying. I mean, I would look it up right now.
That's pretty interesting. I thought it was it was baseball that was like the lowest payment, because
maybe.
Because most of the time these guys, they don't run or exercise that much. They're a bunch of fat asses. Like anybody can be a fat ass and still be a great baseball player. Like shit, and you still get paid millions of dollars out of it. But I do know soccer is definitely one of the highest grossing sports, because we're not talking about US dollars. We're talking about euros, millions of euros.
So I just looked it up. The NHL gets a smaller amount of revenue from its TV deal than NFL, MLB, and NBA. Therefore, so so, which is fine. Like I get it, but in the same realm of dubstep, it's like NHL is a really hard game.
I see where you're trying to point it out. Yeah,
dubstep's super hard. Like it's a hard. Yeah, it's an easy genre in the sense of like, once you get it and you have all your sounds ready and you have like, you know what I mean? It's not like this like daunting task.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But getting to that point where it's not a daunting task takes a long time. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of work. And which is good. Being able to pay for rent would be nice. You know what I mean? For like the majority of like people that are out there doing well, like people should be able to be making, it shouldn't be like with flights going up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flights are going up in cost. You have everything going up. Like people should be more, I don't want to say like, getting more money, but I mean,
I feel like dubstep should get as much appreciative and compensation as they do on the house scene. because it's ridiculous. And again, I have no ill manners with any other genres. Everybody has their own genres.
No. It's the name of the game.
Yeah,
it's the game.
Yeah, so, but it's like it's stupid to think about that. You know, the big room and house artists, like for example, the Martin Garrix, the Hartwells, the Swedish House Mafias, the Carl Cutts, the Army Van Burens. They get paid hundreds and thousands of dollars for their sets, and anyone below that, like the W&Ws, the laid back looks, I can name a bunch of it. The Sam de Vardurns, the Dubs, like all those guys get paid like 20 or the 5, is it the 5-digit? Yeah, the 5-digit number of thousands of dollars, all those guys get paid heavily. And then when you reach to the dubstep players get paid like, a couple of G's here and there. Like they're not universally loved as these guys. These guys get paid hundreds of thousands. And
I'm looking up how much Calvin Harrison's residency deal was.
Millions of dollars. Millions. It's a paid contract, just like Tiesto's residency. It's millions. We're not talking about thousands at that point.
Yeah, no, but I think from what I remember, I can't look up the exact one, but I believe it was $220 million for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. When Calvin Harris had a residency in Vegas for 4 years, I think because it was 400,000. So I looked at it. It was 400,000 per show, 440,000. Oh yeah, so right here, 440,000 per show from 2012 to 2018.
That's fucking insane. That's just ridiculous. See.
Good, like, hey, good for him. Hey, good for him. But if $400,000 you could pay for like that's I don't even know how many dubstep shows that is. Bro, money's worth. You know what I mean?
Well, $400,000, I'm pretty sure you can do a few festivals with big heavy hitter dubsteps overall.
Yeah. Depends. Yeah, it depends. I know. Here's the other thing too. I know it costs a lot of money to put these things on. So that's another fucking thing where I think a lot of times promotion companies, they want to get started and they don't realize how much money it costs. The reason why I know how much money it costs is it fucking costs so much money to even promote music. And by promote music, I mean it costs money to just make, artwork. Like I've had artworks where it costs $700 for one artwork piece. Jesus. Not because the person ripped me off or anything, but because like it's like going through a legitimate like a tattoo person. You know what I mean? If you're gonna get done right, you're gonna get done right.
No, of course.
It's gonna cost a little bit. But it's the same thing with promotion companies. It's like if you're gonna do it right, you gotta have a little bit of money for it and realize that don't just book artists because I love people that want to book artists because they want to book artists and they love them, but also worry about your financial assets as well. You know what I mean? Like, but if your main goal is to put on artists because you just want to see them, like, I love that and I respect the fuck out of that. But I also think people should be worried about just making a little bit of money back or breaking even as well, because then you can put on future shows more and more, and it's not this. But I think you gotta. It's a lot of planning that and that's my business side where I see some things that happen. I'm like, bro, where's like a little bit more planning going on behind. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit.
It's yes and no on that aspect, because it's true what everything that you just mentioned, but there's some things that you tend to forget. Like most of the time when you're trying to book for an artist, and this is me, I was into the mindset of a promoter when I used to promote for Life in Color and Ultra and Sunset Music Festival, and I used to promote for Club Space and Hard Nightclub and some other shows, and I was very close to the heads of the guys, and sometimes it's more of it's a negotiation at that point. It's more of a favor to favor. Yeah. It's example. This didn't happen to this artist, but it's an example of more or less how the business really works. We want to book Zomboy to perform at this show in Miami. All right, Zomboy's quote is 20 G's. Oh, we can't afford 20 G's, man. Can you do it for 15? like, no, man, we can't go lower than 20 Gs and that. And it's a much of a back and forth. And that's where, the age is like, all right, we'll do you a solid one. We'll book you Zomboy for 12 Gs. But if you book Zomboy for 12 Gs, you have to book my other artists that I represent for 10 Gs. And it has to be before Zomboys.
Yeah, what I mean by like not planning ahead and stuff is like production isn't there. Like you plan a festival and then half the stage isn't set up when the festival goes down. You know what I mean? Like there's shows like that when that happens where it's like, bro, like how are you not planning?
Now that's a bad promoter. That's definitely bad promoters and bad communications with the technical team. Yeah,
and it's far and few, but I've seen shows where it's happened where stuff wasn't set up, or I didn't play personally, but I had friends where they said like, look, like half the stage wasn't even. It was being set up while I was playing the stage. It's like Jesus Christ, man. It's like stuff like that where it's like crazy to me that people are like paying all this money to do this thing, and then it's like not even run correctly. Which is like, I get it. Shit happens. I get it. Shit fucking happens. It's funny when you put all this money, like $50,000 into a fucking thing. And then I don't know. It's crazy. Like I freak out when I lose money. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
It's crazy when people are just like tossing 50 grand down the toilet and they don't even make their money back. I'm like, what? My business mind is like, what the fuck are you doing? Because when I fuck up, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? I'm like, Jesus Christ. So it's just crazy to me when people like, it's not them not paying artists. It's like they have like this vision and they put out this vision. It's for the fans. This is what I'm thinking about, like the fan perspective. They're paying this money to come to this show and then it's fucking shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's not a festival experience. You know what I mean? Like I'm paying like $100 for something that's like not even put up. Like what is, you know what I mean? And like, you know what I mean? Like shows back in the day when I would pay, nothing was ever like that. And I think it's funny sometimes that people just get into the scene to make a quick buck. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, I want to put on a festival. This festival is going to pop off. We're going to make like this X amount of money. And it's like, dude, it's not about the money. It's like, it's about you having money prior to that and you wanting to do this because you want to see the scene thrive. Like not just make a quick fucking buck. That sounds like you're never going to do it.
Yeah. That sounds like the Fire Festival guy.
Yeah, it's like Firefest, but I mean, there's other companies that have done it numerous times.
No, absolutely. Firefest just happens to be like the most.
But that's like the worst example.
Yeah, that's like that. It's like the worst case scenario. But
it's not like that. The companies weren't that bad. I'm talking about. I'm just saying, like, if I bought, what I'm saying is, I've never bought a ticket for a festival, and it's never been what was sold to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a shame when people get sold something. It's like a scam. It's like a fucking Ponzi. It's like any like Ponzi scheme that someone gets sucked into, like a pyramid scheme. It's like, this festival is supposed to be like high tier. Looks like there's high tier artists and everything else, and you get there and like the production sucks. It's like fuck. Anyways, that's my rant about shows and fucking whatever else. I have nothing.
I feel you with that part. And believe it or not, I've experienced and dealt with people who are like that, in which they made a shit show of a show, and I have half-ass stages and whatnot, and still trying to pay off the student, not the student. What the fuck I'm talking? So trying to pay the artist. Yeah, they're like they still owe money to the artist because they didn't make it back or whatnot. Fact. Let me tell you this. I'm pretty sure this didn't hurt Life in Color whatsoever at that time before it went nothing. But when I performed in Life in Color, they were supposed to build 4 stages. So they successfully built 3, and the local stage, which is the one that I was headlining, wasn't even built.
Yeah.
It was just like this is what I work my ass off for.
Yeah, you record a set and everything else, and then just like years prior, and then it's a kick in the balls. It's like it's a massive blue ball. Those situations,
dude. And I had to talk to people that are outside of like in color that has more power than Life in Color for them to like move mountains, and they managed to pull out at least a half-ass stage with a little stage, and then white table, 2 decks and a mixer. All right, everybody play. That's as far as we can get it out of it, and we're just like, you know what, fuck it, let's have fun with it. Instead of having our set, everybody gets to have 20-minute set, because that's the only way. It's the only way.
I mean, I remember Life in Color. I never was that only on the East Coast, or was that in the West Coast as well?
Life in Color used to be all around the nation and other parts in the world, and no, Life in Color was pretty big.
They did the spraying of the paint and everything.
Yeah, that's the festival. It was what was before known. It was Dayglow, and then they changed it to Life in Color because of the whole painting. Because the whole painting aspect was a trend. Yeah. Everybody was hopping to that trend. But then when that trend was like drying out, they were trying to figure out ways to get it back, and then that shit just went to the crapper.
Yeah. I remember when it was like Steve Aoki would play for them a lot, or maybe not a lot.
Yeah, no, Steve Aoki used to play a lot. Borges used to play a lot. Fucking Diplo used to play a lot with them. A lot of artists used to play a lot.
I'm gonna be honest. I did not understand the attraction of getting sprayed with paint. I'm gonna be honest. Even at my young age, I was like, dude, no. And I get it. Like, I like, someone wants to do it, fine, more power to you. Have fun with it. But for me, it's like,
it's a kid.
It's already enough getting sweaty as balls.
Oh man!
Like, I don't need to be painted up, dealing with being sweaty as dick, painted up, going home and showering. It's like, being sweaty is enough. Then going home and showering. It's like, I don't need to be painted for it. That's my thing. I don't know. I don't know how the people go to.
It was horrible. Thank God I never got into that, because I had the same visions. Like, I don't want to get painted. I don't like to be around crowd. It's hot as fuck here in South Florida. And paint? No. But I get it. The thing is that their target audience was more for teenagers, for kids.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, wasn't it 16 plus?
Yeah,
or no?
That's what it was, 16 plus. And Ultra always takes shots at them all the time. They most of the time when we're in the festival, we see the little airplane with a sign. It's like, you want to come to Ultra? Turn 18. That was
Ultra was all ages when I went. In 2012, it was all ages.
It was until shit started to go bad with team.
Oh yeah, I was into it, right? Like, so the girl died in LA.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was at EDC that year when that girl died.
Oh shit!
And then Hard Summer was Hard Summer in 2010 was the last festival in LA that was a rave that was all ages. Scream and Banga did a back-to-back there. That's why I went. Scream and Banga was back-to-back. I think Caspa was playing as well. Like, I've seen Scream and Banga back-to-back 3 or 4 times, and like, I know one time at like the NOS Event Center, the big Insomniac venue in LA, and then one time at UMF. So I know for sure 3 times. But once it turned 18 plus, I started using my friend's ID for like a year. And my friend he had orange hair, blue eyes, and was 6'2".
Oh, right? Shit!
And so I'm not even 6'2" now, let alone when I was 15. But I had a beard, and I have brown eyes. All right, so like and I don't have orange hair, clearly, and I did not have orange hair back then either. So, and I never got it taken away once. But I'll tell you this: every time that I used that fake ID for shows, I never ate food before. I had to eat food every time I went to the venue, because I could not eat up until that moment, because I was so nervous of like one time the cops finding out that it was not my ID or the security guards.
Yeah,
because they had to check it, because after that girl died, it was after the girl died, after Hard Summer, every rave for like the next 2 years that I went to. So I went to raves for like the next 2 years, year and a half.
Okay.
And every time I'd use my friend's ID, and it was just nervous. You know what I mean? I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know what would happen if they would have been like, yo, this isn't you. You know what I mean? Because I'm not that troublemaker. I wouldn't have like, I don't think I would have sprinted. I think I would have like started stuttering maybe and been like, oh yeah, that's me. Like I memorized I know my friend's name. My friend's last name was Baxelmasi. So it's Bacsalmasi. Like till this day, I've memorized it. Like because like I was so worried about them being like, what's your last name? How do you spell it? You know, like all that shit and just being like, fuck. But yeah, I was dedicated to the scene. I was dedicated back in the day.
So you were actually very, very involved with the EDM scene overall. Like
that's why I'm at my age now. I'm like, do I do the normie life? You know what I mean? Because I'll be honest, man, I love dubstep, but at times it's really I just want to go out some nights, man, and be like, yo, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know? Like I fuck producing right now. I want to go out, but it's like I need to sit here and produce. I need to grind. I want to grind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, yo, I want to fucking like date a little, maybe. Like it's been a while since I've dated. Been a minute, which is all good. I dated for like 5.5 years with my last girl. And then it's been 4 years since I've dated just because just been on and off with girls, meeting girls or whatever, but I've never like stuck with somebody. But it's like at a certain point, it's like, bro, I'm 27. It's like I need to
Is it because most of these girls like they?
It's just hard. It's hard to meet someone that
loves your music, or do you?
I don't even want to meet someone that likes dubstep. I mean, I want to meet someone that likes music and dubstep as a whole. But I wouldn't care if someone was like super in the dubstep scene as not. But
you would care if somebody like only cares about you, like accepts you for who you are and whatever you're trying to get to, they're supportive about it.
Yeah, I just want to date someone that isn't just a complete dubstep only person. You know what I mean? Like all they listen to is dubstep. You know what I mean? Like I love dubstep to my core. It's my bread and butter. But I don't know if I could date someone that all they listen to is dubstep all day. That's all. It's like that in country. Like you can't listen to country only, and you can't listen to dub. You can't listen to dubstep. You know what I mean? You can listen to drum and bass only. Sorry, I was about to flip you off by doing that. You can listen to drum and bass only. But don't get me like I love dubstep. I there's a point in time where it's like I listen to like Japanese, like 80s Japanese music.
Oh, you know what I mean? Bro, I have an entire playlist of all anime music. When I hear some of the openings,
not necessarily anime music, but it's like 80s Japanese music where it's anime music, I guess. I guess it's anime. I love anime. But don't give me, I'm not no fucking weeaboo. Right? Listen.
A wheel what?
A weeaboo? Like someone that like, or it's like someone that calls like, what's a weeaboo? Hold on. Let me look up it's like W-E.
I thought it was weeb. I didn't know there was a weeaboo.
Okay, so it's an obsessive fan of Japanese culture, a weeaboo. So if you look it up, it's WEABOO, is an over obsessive fan of Japanese culture. And the only reason why I know that fucking term is from watching Twitch. That is the only reason why. I don't know if you know what Twitch is, but
just shut up, okay, shut up.
I assume you know what Twitch is.
I'm not that old, okay? I know what the fuck Twitch is. The fuck.
All right. But yeah, that's the reason why I know what that Twitch is. I love anime. Anime is cool. Don't get me wrong. I just what's the right word? I've been to anime conventions. I'm not someone where I could watch it religiously ever again. Like I sat there watching like most like Sword Art Online and like all the basic ones for like 2 years. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Back in the day. I can't sit still when I'm watching a lot of TV stuff anymore unless I really want to watch it. I really just want to like be productive.
Okay.
Which I'm glad that I've gotten to that point in my life where I really can't sit there and watch stuff too often. Like I'd rather sit there and watch a really informative video than watch some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I rewatched Workaholics recently. I don't know if you know what Workaholics is.
Yeah, that was a funny show in Comedy Central.
Yeah. So I rewatched that one recently. But even then, man, I'm putting it on the background and I can only pay attention while I'm making music. Like
background noise, basically.
Yeah, that's and then what else? What else have I watched?
I do that a lot with Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Entourage.
Okay, Entourage, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I never saw, wait, so did you watch that as a kid?
Entourage, absolutely. Well, not as a kid, but as an adult, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. When did it came out?
You were a teenager, right? When it came out?
I was a teenager at the time. I had HBO because of my parents, you know, so I get to watch it once every Saturday, you know. I didn't used to go out that often.
You're all good. You're all good. I thought when I started watching Entourage now, I'm like, man, only if I was older during that generation.
Yeah.
That would have been the fucking show for me and my boys to watch.
Yeah.
That would have been it. It's so, I don't even know how to describe it. Like that's like the definition of the 2000s. And once I watched it like a year ago, and I'm like, oh my God, what a show what an era.
Dog, and that's my favorite series, man. And I introduced that to my brother and then my dad, and they both love it. I even show it to my mom eventually, and my mom is like, "Holy crap! Is this heavy? Is this some of the stuff that you went through?" I was like, "Well, like that's more of a actor's perspective. There's some things that happen in that show that I have to deal with." And some of the let me put it this way: anything that involves with Ari and E, I've dealt with those negotiations with other
people yelling at each other on the phone.
And then getting into contracts, and then like, no, we have to get this contract. No, we have to get this the gig. If we don't get this gig, then none of us work ever again. You know, stuff like that.
E wasn't the main guy, right? Or was E the guy that was on the phone always with the contracts? Which one was?
E was the manager. E was the one looking out for Vince, the main guy.
Yeah, I know who Ari is.
Yeah, Ari is the most hilarious, bro. I sometimes like curse around like kid because it's so creative, his way of insulting people.
I saw him in Old School. Do you know the movie Old School?
Yeah. Jeremy Piven was in that as the dean.
Yeah. He was younger too, and it was like I recognized him. I'm like, I don't even care what your role is. Like, just because I associate you with that, like it puts us like some actor. It's like rest in peace, but I'm gonna say his last name fucking wrong, but Roy Lolita or whatever, however you say his last name.
Yeah,
the guy that was in fucking Goodfellas, like the guy.
Oh yeah.
So any movie that he's in, I don't even care if it's a bad movie. I'll just watch it. You know what I mean? Just because he's in it, and I think the same thing would be for the Ari guy now. Like even
Jeremy Piven,
Like no matter what, like I think I would just watch it just to see what his character does. You know what I mean? I'd never seen Old School, but I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it. Like I know it's like some trash fucking.
It's an old Raunchy movie, but at the time it was ahead of its time. It was just so fucking hilarious. It's one of those movies that you have to watch it with your buddies, man. You have to. It has to be a Friday night. Everybody's getting drinks and high and shit. Like you have to watch it and just watch the level of stupidity that comes for it, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Will Ferrell guy. Like I honestly like I hate Will Ferrell's acting. Like after 2006, like everything after Talladega Nights is like
it went to the crapper. Yeah,
it's awful. It's so bad, and it's nothing against him. It's just like the roles he took are. I don't know. It is what it is.
I will say after Step Brothers, that's where he actually fell off the wagon. After any other movies, it was like, The other guys that he did with Mark Wahlberg, I thought it was like a comeback. It's like, oh shit, he's coming back, and then does other movies. I'm like, there you go. You just fucked that up again. You just like nah. Like in Talladega, Blades of Glory, Anchorman. Yeah. Those are like. Yeah, those are like the greatest hits that he's ever done. And even outside of that, it's just like blah.
There's not, so like I was getting at, like I saw The Northman recently. I sat there and I watched that one. I even watched it at night and I fell asleep and I had to rewatch it the next morning. But there's not meaning, getting back to my point, there's not too many things where I will sit there
and fully watched.
Yeah, just show, and it's also because I feel like so much shit that comes out is, it's not that it's terrible, it's that it feels, I want to see new. You know what I mean?
You want to see something new, not something that's been like used before or rehashed before.
I don't need to see a new I don't need to see a reboot series again or a reboot, whatever it is. It's like, and it goes to the same thing with music, man. It's like all correlates, like with how the label stuff and everything.
Yeah.
People want to hear fresh stuff, and so it's really cool. And I really hope that labels keep taking on new music coming out and not being just wanting to release something that did well, and so just rebrand it, re-release it, and just keep accepting demos that are that way. And I don't think that is that way all the time, but I think it's really, and I think a lot of labels too, to their credit, have been taking a lot more chances with shit.
But I wish they could take more chances now than before, because now is more. I feel like a lot of these labels are more of a niche thing, not a niche thing. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's more of a click. Like you can fuck with us if one of our boys fucks with you, type of thing.
Which is another thing too, which I don't even hate on it, because it's literally the game that we have all signed up for, and anybody that sometimes says differently, it's not that they're wrong. It's just like, I understand that there needs to be a level of like, I like you, so I'm gonna fuck with you, but it's really, there's some artists out there where you're like, holy shit. If only, and I think, like I said, I think a lot more labels finally sign people that are way smaller, like Butte Noise. Maybe might be the best example. I think I remember when I heard Butte Noise for the first time. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I think I am. The guy that's on Disciple, with the Congo drums from Cuba.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Cuban producer. So
when I heard him for the first time, so the first time I heard him, he had like his first release on Disciple, I think he only had like 500 followers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So point being that it's not like they're like needing to have big followers to get releases, which is awesome.
Which is a good direction, a good thing.
Like Dr. Lobster, perfect example. Like, I fucking love his production, everything else. Like, he came out of nowhere and he got signed instantly, and which is awesome. So there's like cases of it. I just hope I just hope more labels come out where, like, maybe I don't even know what needs to happen really. There just needs to be there needs to not be oversaturation with the same shit being produced and put on the same labels. But at the same time, having more labels isn't going to solve anything. So it's, I just think, like I said, I think it's like the phase with video games, where there's not a lot of good video games coming out. There's so much good dubstep coming out right now, but there's not really a lot of ways to make money off dubstep too. You know what I mean? There's so many good dubstep artists, like Wink, all these like smaller guys. You know who Wink is, right? Wink. You probably, well, you should check them out.
I'm gonna definitely check them out.
Yeah. Like, there's a like Resurge. I think that's his name or whatever. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but all the like the Indefinite people, that record label, fucking what's his name? I think I'm saying it right. I'm not crazy. Yeah, Indefinite Recordings. The guy, what's his name, runs it. I'm saying Allah right now, and I can't think of the fucking guy's name. Definitive. You know what I mean? That label ran by Definitive.
Yeah.
All those guys, awesome. And these guys there just needs to be like a little bit of money behind dubstep. That's it. And by that, just like people being able to just, make money for food. You know what I mean? During fucking this recession and shit. That's all it needs to be, just money for food and money for rent. And I think dubstep would just thrive so much more, because people have to juggle, doing a normal job while trying to do this. while trying to do, maybe even a side hustle because you have to pay for everything else. It's like, it's so hard. If people want to do dubstep as the main thing, it's just hard, it's,
See, so. That's something that reminds me of Lane, Careless Castle.
Yeah.
When I asked him about him, because I at the time when I asked him when he was mentoring me, because I was like, dude, like you're doing good, man. You got 20,000 followers. You're Never Say Die sign. You're the hottest shit and everything and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, not really. It doesn't pay off. So it's like, what do you mean? This is like, nah. It's like I'm signed to Never Say Die. I do things for Never Say Die, but in reality, I don't make that much money. And my whole income really comes between my shows, if I ever get booked, or my Lyft. Like I do Lyft, and sometimes private touring sessions like you and others. I'm like, holy fuck, bro! Are you serious? Are you serious?
It's no, and that's the thing where it sucks because like you it blows your mind away.
Yeah,
it really
does.
Because I have like for example, I don't know if you know the guy Trainwrecks. I watch this guy who does like gambling streams on Twitch. I'm not a gambler. That's the thing. I enjoy doing my stock shit and whatever else.
But it's not really gambling. It's
gambling. It's gambling, but it's a little bit. It's not just pressing a click of a button with fucking slot machines. Right. But anyways, point being, this guy does like millions of dollars of gambling on Twitch through crypto casinos. And the guy will blow through like 5 mil a day. It's like, dude, this guy blows through like the net worth of like all of dubstep together. Not all of dubstep, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that's just like one Twitch streamer, and obviously a really big Twitch streamer. Don't get me wrong, like the top 1%. So it's not like, well, that's every Twitch streamer. No. But it's crazy when that just overtakes like a whole industry's net worth regarding like the artist in like one day. Not every artist, obviously, but like collectively all of underground, obviously, and it's insane. Like that when you see stuff like that. And you watch someone that they grind, World of Warcraft and like other games for like 5 years, and you're like, holy shit! Like he's a great entertainer, love the guy.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that someone that sat there doing that can just make money that's unfathomable for someone that like Careless Castles, for example, who's a god tier musician, just a god tier musician. You know what I mean? And objectively deserves maybe a quarter of or a fifth of that 5 million as a net worth, objectively speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an artist, you know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where it's you work 10 years of your life, and then and then it's just hard. It is a hard thing because you want to date, and people are like, well, what's your income like? And then it's like, well, it's this and it's that, and then it's like, well, why do you do something for 10 years if your income's that? And it's like, well, I enjoy it, and it's just like, I don't even know. It's this weird thing where it's like you got to meet the right and shout out to everybody that dates someone that's down to date someone when they're not killing it yet or whatever else. Like it's really cool to see people who are willing to even date people who are killing it, but not even making the money where it's even there, not yet. It's insane that.
Yeah, that's my
fiance. It's an insane profession. Yeah. It's an insane profession to want to do. You know what I mean? Objectively speaking. And that's something I had to realize like 3 months ago. I was going through this weird shit. That's why I posted that shit on social media or a week ago or whatever, where it's just like everything just built up, where it's like, I know if I put more into my brand and I put more with being out there and everything else, it can help with just reaching more people and objectively like being a better brand. Because just being in my corner, not going out, posting whips every now and then on Instagram, blah 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 blah, and not fucking trying to get out and network, talk to you, meet you, regardless how big this podcast or how many people view this shit. Good to just talk to new people and not be in my same bubble, whatever it is, and
It's dope, man. It's dope. What's going on, everyone? If you guys made it all the way to the end of the episode and you feel kind of left out, like why didn't the episode finish? Like, don't worry, guys. It's okay. The episode was way too big for me to put it in just one episode that I had to divide the episode because there was so many good content and so many good topics and discussions that it cannot be discussed under one episode, but had to divide it so we can always have brand new episodes with brand new topics every Friday. Always remember that. So be sure to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and of course the YouTube channel at lonewolfpod.com. That's right, lonewolfpod.com, where you can check all my latest episodes. And always remember to comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. Share your experiences. If you guys got a certain topic that you want me to cover for the next episode, please let me know on the comments down below, and I'll do my best to do so. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Deuces.